this should be seen. I'm a Ravenclaw, but I have a Gryffindor scarf, but I'm a Ravenclaw. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Cedric Dylan, and let's talk about books. For this video, I'm going to give you a wrap-up of the books that I read for the month of August, which I'm very happy about because all of the books that I read in the month of August was all good reads. Like, I rated them either 4 or 5 stars, so I did not regret reading any of them. And yeah, so let's talk about the books that I finished this August. Okay, so for the month of August, I read 5 books. The first book that I finished reading is this one. It's Minette Walters' Chicken Feet, and I think I rated this 4 stars. So this book, we follow the story of Elsie and her husband, Norman Thorne. Her supposed to be husband, Norman Thorne. And right from the beginning, we are introduced to Elsie, who is dead, who is butchered by her supposed to be husband. And don't worry, it's not a spoiler, it's actually how the story started. We immediately get to the point where the author insinuated that Elsie was butchered, was murdered. As you go on through this very short read, it's only 100 pages, you will have a glimpse of what Elsie is truly like. I wouldn't say you would understand why she got butchered or if she got what she deserved, because this is more than that. Because Elsie is a character that should be understood. Yes, and as you go through this read, you will understand where she is coming from. So moving on, I have the second book that I finished. It's Patricia Cromwell's Postmortem. It's the first book in the Case Carpeta series. So it's a forensic mystery fiction novel. So in this story, we follow Dr. Case Carpeta, of course, as she conducts post-mortem, or autopsy to the victims of this serial killer, who they are having a difficult time finding because there's no other lead to the serial killer other than a very strange glitter on the bodies of the victims. And the third book that I finished is Friar's House by Emma Fraser. It's a gothic domestic romance historical fiction novel, and it's set in different timelines. It's 1940s and 1980s and other times as well. So in this novel, we follow the main character, Charlotte Friel, as she fulfills her promise to her late mom, and that is to visit her great aunts who live in this very huge mansion in an island separated from the society. A visit, and also her pursuit in understanding the very complicated relationship and history of this family. Not to forget about her spooky, very nerve-wracking experiences in this manor called Friar's House. She experienced a lot of spooky, unexplainable things in the story, which I think really gave that suspense in this magnificently written book. This novel also touches in the many historical events that took place in the 1940s and the earlier times. This book alluded to the 1745 Jacobite Rising, and also the Pearl Harbor, the Battle of Hong Kong, the Battle of Singapore, and of course, World War II. And I really love this. I gave it a 5-star because it made me feel a lot of things. It made me feel anguish, anger, love. I felt the suspense, the thrill, and I really like how Emma Fraser was able to mix these seemingly very different genres together. The writing style and the storytelling of Emma Fraser in this book was magnificent. Then the next book that I finished is this one, Vert by Jeff Noon. It's the first sci-fi book that I read, and it was awesome. Right from the bat, I was able to get into the story quickly. It's actually one of my problems because when I start a story, it's difficult for me to get into it because it's another introduction to this plot, another introduction to this world, introduction to characters, and which is a little difficult for me. But this one really changed that because I enjoyed the first few chapters of this book. However beautiful, I hit a slump reading this book. I actually picked this after Postmortem, but then I didn't feel like reading it at some point, so I grabbed this book and I finished Greyfriar's House first, and then I continued reading Vert after Greyfriar's House because I don't want to DNF it. It had so much potential. Maybe it's just me. So I'm planning to reread this sometime in the future whenever I get my hands on the other books by Jeff Noon, which is, I think, the other books from the series. It's a really great story about this gang called Stash Riders, whose only goal is to be transported to this alternate reality. It's by doing drugs, where they can experience other worlds. And the drugs in this world, comes in different colors of feathers. And this is done, and the drugs is done by inhaling or ingesting the feathers. It was all just fun and games until one of the members of the Stash Riders went missing, and that is Desdemona. There's one thing that I cannot sit well with this book, and I don't want to spoil it. If you want to read it, it's a really good one. And then the last book that I finished this month of August was Gone for Good by Harlan Copen. And this one is a 5-star read for me because it was totally riveting. I was sucked into the story. Just when I thought I already know how it's going to end, just when I thought that I was starting to get disappointed by the story because it felt incomplete, Harlan Copen proved me wrong. Because all the things that I learned about the story, all the plot twists, all the compelling dialogue, riveting plot twists that made me believe that the story is like this and like that, all of that changed with the last 15 pages of this book. Harlan Copen proved himself again to me. So if you don't know, Harlan Copen is one of my favorite authors. He's a mystery author, and this is his first work. And I'm truly astounded with this work because, yeah, as I said, it's very riveting, and all the twists and turns of events in this story was truly well done. Like, I did not notice any lapse, any, what do you call this, any plot holes in this story. So in this story, we actually follow Will Klein. It all started when his dying mother suddenly, all of a sudden, revealed to him that his missing brother, who was accused of murder, is still alive after 12 or 11 years. And he wasn't even going to pursue what his dying mother said because she's already dying. Maybe she just spurted out the words until he saw what seems to be a latest photograph of his brother hidden behind a picture of their family. And that's what sends him to his pursuit of the truth, finding his missing brother, who he believes is still a hero, who he believes is innocent and did not murder anyone. Well, this has been Cedric Dillon, and these are the books read for the month of August. Consider subscribing, it's free, and I hope you have a wonderful day ahead of you. See you in my next video. Bye.